I've got a great drill for you here that is going to really enable you to feel how the shaft can stand up on the way back and then shallow out on the way down. Today, Barney and I are going to talk to you a little bit about shaft pitch in your downswing, how to shallow out that club shaft. Barney's got some ideas, I've got a couple too. Let's get to it. Shallowing out your shaft in your downswing has always been an objective for many golfers. Today, I want to give you, to start with, some insights into why it may have never worked before. Ultimately, everyone is looking for a club shaft that is pointing somewhere forwards. And a reference point, if you've not known about it, has been the top of the forearm. All about getting the club in the downswing, laying down as close to horizontal or parallel to the floor in an effort to try to get that golf ball to move right to left in the air. Now, Barney asked me the other day, why on earth are people just considering the shaft pitch on the way down? Why are they not taking into consideration the shaft pitch on the way up? Because surely, Dad, on the way back really makes an impact on how that club works on the way down. And not only does the shaft pitch on the way up have an impact of the shaft pitch on the way down, how we hold it, how we move with our body, also has a big impact. So today, I want to share with you a few thoughts on how you might be able to shallow that shaft on the way down. I'm going to give you a cracking drill, so stay with me. But to start with, as I say, I want to talk to you about the relevance of that shaft pitch from the downswing to the through swing. And so when we start to deliver this golf club into impact here, the pitch that shaft is on will in most occasions be delivered by tucking the right arm in and then increasing more side bend. Those are the two most common ingredients that golfers use to try to get that club shaft shallow. We're really encouraging that right arm tuck and that right shoulder lower in an effort to make these forearms ultimately rotate more to the right. The more we tuck the right elbow, the more we lower the right shoulder, the more we tend to see how this club shaft will start to point more out in front of the golf ball rather than inside the golf ball. The trouble with that, and I've talked about it many times, is that the club face then starts to get open, which is why we then get that bowing of the left wrist in an effort to then hit that draw, which you can see is something that does work and will have its application. Unfortunately, we do see an angle of attack that really reduces itself. As I say, not going to go on about that too much. I've berated that idea for far too long now. Therefore, understand that application in your downswing will majority of the time work if you have one of your hands strong on the golf club. Now, invariably, I see people with a strong right hand out of the two hands. It's rare that I see strong left hands. So do go out and check my grip playlist because that's crucial to get the grip right. So if you don't have a grip that has either the right hand or the left hand in some sort of strength position, when you do end up getting that club shaft laid down in the downswing and that right arm tucked, you do end up getting yourself in a position where you can't square the club face up. So not having that grip in the right orientation is really crucial to your success or failure of that particular persuasion of trying to shallow the shaft out. What I want to bring to your attention is how the balancing act of a backswing and a downswing really influences your opportunity to get that club shaft laying down. Because ultimately, in a backswing and a downswing, we have a couple of assets that are really strong in how this golf club moves. We have arm lift, and I've got a cracking video coming out, actually has already come out because I'm shooting this after it, a cracking arm lift video, so do go and check that video out. We have arm lift in a backswing and we have forearm rotation. And because we've got forearm rotation to the right as a right-hander, and then we have set, this right elbow and this right arm should flex of its own accord. So actually what we're looking for to encourage this club shaft to shallow on the way down is in transition, when we go into our backswing, in the point of transition, we want to feel like this club head is swinging over the top of the handle at some point in the backswing. And so when we see golfers pay no attention to how the golf club works on the way back, if the golf club head gets a little too underneath the handle on the way back and then starts to steepen itself out, our job is that much more difficult. But in an effort to get the golf club head swinging over the top of the handle, when it swings over the top of the handle and I pull the handle forwards, we can now start to see how this golf club would start to shallow itself out. And that's why pulling the handle forwards is crucial. I've had many people say, Stuart, I don't see it, doesn't happen. Well, to you people, it's garbage. The handle does move forwards. The energy of the handle is going in that direction as I pull down. Just because you don't see it to the amount that I demonstrate it, doesn't mean that the energy is not going in that direction. So I've got a great drill for you here that is going to really enable you to feel how the shaft can stand up on the way back and then shallow out on the way down. And for the most part, when people have tried to stop themselves from swinging the club head in, they've invariably pushed the handle away to get the club head out in front of the hands. And everybody talks, got to get the club head in front of the hands. Got to get the club head in front of the hands. Well, how people go about that is in a multitude of ways, but most of the time they're pushing their hands away from themselves, which actually creates an opposite response. So in fact, to get that club head out in front of our hands, you can actually see that my left arm tracks across my body and the club head is actually out to the left of the handle. The minute I start pushing my handle out, look how the club head wants to fall back. I now take that club lower. Look how the club head has really swung under. So this drill here where I take my right hand and grip it down the bottom of the grip here, and then I have my top hand a little flexed. I use my thumb, I push down on the golf club as I use my right hand to push up or pull up. I encourage some hip rotation, which makes my chest rotate around, and now all of a sudden you can see how that club head is standing up. Now, as we start to have more arm lift, that golf club wants to start to fall over the top of my right hand. And when it falls over the top of my right hand, now I've got some external rotation of my right arm. I've got some sitting down and loading of my right shoulder. And if you haven't watched that video up there, that's a beauty, because I really talk about how that right shoulder loads and a drill with a TheraBand to give you the sensation and keep the structure, sending Barney to sleep. Hopefully not you. So how that right arm works really has, and that right shoulder and the structure of that right shoulder really starts to work on how much external rotation we feel in that club shaft as we start to reach the top of our backswing. And when you start to have the heavy end swinging over the top of the light end, as you then start to pull that golf club down, all of a sudden this manipulation of trying to shallow the shaft by having to externally rotate your forearms on the way down, which then has to quickly snap back over through strike, is no longer needed. So we get the feeling, and this is the drill, we push the handle down, we get the club head to swing over, and then we can swing through. And so we actually start to feel that sensation at the top of how that golf club starts to swing over the top of the handle. Not the best demonstration in the world. Push down, get the club head to swing over the top, and now we can pull the golf club down and through. Excuse me. And so, a bit of hay fever going on. Push the handle down, make the club head swing over the top, external rotation. Now I can pull the golf club forwards. And if you can't see in this motion here how much energy I'm starting to encourage my handle to move in this direction to strike that golf ball, then I'll go and get yourself down to Specsavers and get some glasses. So you really start to see the pushing down, club head stands up, lays off, and I pull. And so all of the time I'm doing that, I'm really starting to feel like my right side can really accelerate around the golf ball, use my right side to hit the golf shot. And all of these shots here, you can see the path line is very, very neutral. Now, it's not an easy drill. There's a lot of movement going on, and I'm only with my right hand. But hopefully what you're starting to see is how the shallowing out of this club shaft is more by virtue of the weight of the head and the momentum of the head rather than the tucking of the arm, the rotating and laying down of the shaft, the lowering of the right shoulder, and all that absolute garbage, my friends. So we really need to start to think about how the track of that handle, the pressure on the handle, really starts to allow that shaft to lay, which then allows us to really get the shaft in a nice spot on the way down, which is how we can consistently allow that club head to shallow itself out. Steeper, shallowing, pull, swing and hit. All by virtue of Barney's cracking drill here of pushing down, laying off and pulling through. Let's go. One of those in a full swing here. Slightly slower than normal, pushing down, standing up, laying off and pulling through. So a really keen drill to offer up a clear explanation of how we get that shaft shallowing in a downswing and how you start to use that drill to go about doing it. I hope Barney's ideas has really given you something to go away and ponder. If you've enjoyed this, do consider subscribing. It would make a great deal to me and the channel to keep growing this further. Thank you so much for watching, and I think you'll find that is good coaching.